everyone, welcome back to another video. In today's video we're talking about one of the most interesting features in eFootball 2027, fluid formation. I'll explain exactly how fluid formation works, the advantages and disadvantages, how to use it properly, the players you should use with it, and most importantly, I'll show you two formations that I've been using that actually work really well with fluid formation. So if you really want to understand how this works, make sure you watch until the end. And if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notifications so you don't miss my future videos. Now, what exactly is fluid formation? Normally, when you set up your formation in eFootball, your players have relatively fixed positions. Your DMF stays around the midfield area, your fullbacks occupy their usual positions, and your forwards stay up top. But with fluid formation, these positions can change depending on whether you're attacking or defending. And this is where things get interesting. Instead of having just one formation, you're essentially giving your team two different formations, one for attacking and another for defending. And basically, it gives your team more fluidity and balance depending on what is happening in the game. It gives you more options when you're attacking and also helps you organize your team when you're defending. So how does fluid formation work? Think about it like this. Let's say you start a match with a 4-3-1-2 formation. When you're attacking, your players will maintain that 4-3-1-2 shape, allowing you to have your midfielders and forwards in the positions you want. But when you're defending, you can set your team to transition into something like a 5-2-1-2 formation. So when you lose the ball, your players can automatically transition into the defensive shape you have set. Fluid formation allows your team to dynamically adjust its shape based on what is happening. You're attacking, your team moves into your attacking formation. You lose the ball and start defending, your team transitions into your defensive formation. Instead of manually changing your formation anytime you want to go defensive, especially for the haram ball players, the game instead does it automatically for you, and that's one of the biggest advantages of using fluid formation. So why is fluid formation so powerful? The biggest benefit, in my opinion, is that dynamism between attack and defense. When you're attacking, you can have more players in advanced positions if that's the way you want to play. And when you're defending, you can have more players helping out defensively. So it gives you that balance between attack and defense. This can be especially useful in division matches, as it will completely change the meta. But there is also a downside. Fluid formation isn't perfect. First, if you're not using the right players or you haven't set up your formation properly, your players might end up moving into positions they're not suited for. Secondly, sometimes it can also take time for players to transition from attack to defense. For example, imagine your fullbacks are pushed very high up the pitch while you're attacking, and suddenly your opponent wins the ball and launches a counter-attack. Your fullbacks might take some time to get back into position, leaving a huge amount of space behind them. And that's where you can start conceding some really stupid goals. That's why you have to be very careful when setting up your fluid formation. In this video, I'll also be showing you the formations I've found to work really well with fluid formation, so make sure you watch until the end because I'll be showing you two formations that you can try for yourself. Thirdly, another downside I noticed is stamina, but this is really dependent on how you set up your fluid formations. This is something I noticed after using fluid formation for a while. It can make your players get tired much faster. Think about it. Your players are constantly moving from defense to attack, then from attack back to defense. They're running up and down the pitch much more than they normally would. Because of this, some players can lose stamina much quicker than expected. You suddenly look at your players and realize that they're already tired, even though the match isn't that far gone. So stamina is definitely something you need to consider when using fluid formation. So how do you use fluid formation effectively? First thing you need to focus on is balance. Don't just push every single player forward when you're attacking and then put almost everyone behind the ball when you're defending. You don't need to do that. Make sure your attacking and defensive formations are balanced. I've actually seen people playing with some crazy formations in the division matches. Don't do that. You need to maintain a good balance between your defense, midfield and attack. Secondly, player playstyles also matter. And this is another important thing you need to understand. The playstyle of the players you're using can make a difference when you're setting up your fluid formation. For example, using a box-to-box midfielder can be very effective because that player naturally has the tendency to move up and down the pitch and can easily transition between CMF and DMF positions depending on the situation. So don't just look at the formation itself, look at the players you're putting into those positions as well. So should you use fluid formation? I would say fluid formation is definitely worth using, especially if you understand what you're doing. But don't think of it as some magical setting that's automatically going to make your team better. It's simply a tool. If you use it correctly, it can help you create overloads, open up passing lanes, improve attacking movements, and make your team much harder to defend against. But if you don't use it correctly, you can leave massive gaps that your opponent will punish immediately. You need to use the right formation, the right players, and the right player play styles. And that's exactly why I'm going to show you the formations that work for me. Now, I can't guarantee that these formations will automatically work for you because everyone has a different play style. The way I play might be completely different from the way you play. So don't just copy my formation and expect it to immediately make you win every game. Instead, use these formations as a starting point. Try them out, see how they feel, make some adjustments, and eventually you'll find a setup that works best for you. And with that being said, let's get into the formations. For the attacking formation, we're using a 4-3-1-2. At the back, we have our 4 defenders. Then in midfield, we have 1 DMF, 2 central midfielders, and 1 AMF. And up front, we have 2 centre forwards. For the DMF, I highly recommend using an anchor man. For the 2 central midfielders, you can use an orchestrator alongside a box-to-box midfielder. Then at AMF, you want to use a whole player or a creative playmaker. For the 2 CFs, you have a few options. You can use 2 goal poachers, a goal poacher and a deep-lying forward, or a goal poacher and a fox in the box. Any of these combinations works. For the defensive formation, we're going with a 5-2-1-2. It's actually very simple. Your DMF, the anchorman, drops back and becomes a centre-back. This gives you 3 centre-backs at the back, while your left back and right back stay on the sides. Then your orchestrator, who was previously playing as a central midfielder, drops back and becomes your DMF. Your other central midfielder remains a CMF, although he drops slightly deeper to help protect the midfield. Your 2 centre forwards and AMF stay in the same position. Now, for the individual instructions, there's not really much you need to change. For your left back and right back, put both of them on defensive instructions. Then for your 2 centre forwards, put counter target on both strikers. So now for the second formation, we're going with a 4-3-3. And yeah, it's basically the same setup as the previous formation. The only difference is in the attacking area. Instead of using an AMF, we're using a second striker here, with 2 forwards up front. Now, when we start defending, the players drop back and the formation changes. Instead of having 5 players at the back, like in the previous formation, we now transition into a 4-3-1-2 defensive structure. We have 4 defenders, 3 defensive midfielders, and the second striker drops back into the AMF position. So essentially, your defensive shape becomes 4 at the back, 3 in midfield, with the SS dropping in to help out. As for the individual instructions, they're exactly the same as before. Put defensive instructions on both your left and right backs and use counter target on both of your forwards. And yeah, that's basically everything you need to know for this second formation. So overall, after using Fluid Formation, I can honestly say it has been really, really good. This was a really great addition by Konami, and I've really enjoyed using it. Don't forget to like and subscribe and comment on your experience with Fluid Formation so far. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.